Hello, it's Kate again. Welcome back to my channel. In my last video I promised a couple more tea reviews, so they are here. First off, please excuse the hair, the noise, and the lack of makeup. It's really warm in here, and I am not a warm person. I'm a cold person. I'm a wear shorts in the winter person, and would just likes to see some snow at this time of year person, so I apologize. So in my last one, I went over the Ostentatious blend from SenseibiliTea. They are an indie tea company out of Halifax that I had the opportunity to purchase from in person at the street fair in Antigonish. So looking at a couple of theirs, their main focus is looking at historical tea blends, recreating those, and offering them up to tea lovers everywhere, and you can find them online, and I will link their website in the video below, and I'll also link you to the previous one. So the three that I am going to look at today are the Prince George blend, Wolf Spice blend, and Nefertiti. So I'm going to start with the Prince George. So these are all simple little packages. They're like little manila envelopes with stickers on them, so there's not like super fancy packaging, but let's get a look. So the description of the Prince George: this is a green tea. So that during the American Revolutionary War, the British loyalists found that the price of tea rose as both scarcity and the cost of war drove the prices higher. The ingenious colonists began blending easily obtainable dried ingredients mixed into their tea to make it go further. Dried apples and black currants were something that most had at home, and many even dried for themselves. The Prince George mixes these dried fruits with one of the most popular green teas of the period. So that's if I'm not mistaken, that's a gunpowder green tea. And the blend makes a light and refreshing cup of tea. So it's quite a lovely little green tea. So I found that the Prince George had a strong green tea flavor. What I'm going to do here is just kind of grab a little on the spoon so that you can see what the blend looks like. So if I do, woohoo, there we go. So you can see the green tea, there's one of those currants right in the front and the big chunks of apple. So that's what the tea looks like. As far as how it smells like green tea. I found that the fruit wasn't very prominent. It had a strong green tea flavor, but it wasn't a super strong tea, if that makes sense. It was a touch bitter, but I might have oversteeped mine a little bit. I had started it, walked away, and then went, oh crap, and went back for it. So it might have been slightly oversteeped, but it wasn't to the point that I couldn't drink it. So it may just be that the tea's a little on the bitterer side. There was a hint of the fruit when I drank it hot. When I added some sweetness to it, so I added a touch of sugar, like just a pinch, and that did bring out a little bit more fruitiness from the tea. Yeah, made the fruit flavors a little more apparent. I also found that as it cooled, the fruit flavors became a little bit more apparent at that point as well. But otherwise, a very nice green tea with a neat little bit of history attached to it. So the other one one of the other ones that I tried was the Wolf Spice blend. So we'll do the same shtick. So this is a black tea. This tea blend is based on 17th and 18th century drink called posset. It is served with milk and sugar and the addition of brandy, rum, or red wine. It's a delightful spiced tea that was served in the evenings. The spices were considered warming and good for digestion. So it's often served after social gatherings. It's a warm and tasty drink that can help you recall the loquacious nights of the Halifax streets in the 18th century. Enjoy this brew named after the famous General James Wolfe. So this one actually looks a little interesting. So this one you can smell as soon as you open it. So the spices are very prominent in this one. So it smells really strong. And I don't know whether you're actually going to be... Okay, come on. There we go. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see or not, but they're kind of thick granules. It's sort of like granulated coffee, or when I was drinking it earlier, I thought it kind of looked a bit like finely crushed cookie crumbs for like making a pie crust. And it's a black tea, but it actually has a brown tinge from the spices. So the spices are really apparent when in smelling of the tea, but also in drinking of the tea. So it smelled kind of like gingerbready, Christmassy type spices. It brewed up really fast. So this one was definitely, I could have either used less tea or done multiple infusions from it, which is really nice. It was a delicious spiced tea. It was smooth. It wasn't bitter. And I found that as I was drinking it, I could definitely taste how an addition of like an amber rum or something like that would have affected the tea. It would have been really nice. It's certainly not a bad addition. So I can see this being like, if you're, again, winter, which is where my mind happily drifts at this time of year, sore throat, just a cold, that this would make a really good hot toddy base with some nice rum in it. And I found this was very drinkable cold, which, so again, sitting around, it's a hot day, not tending to really be using the tea to drink quickly to warm me up, which means I tend to let them get cold, also because then I can see how they taste when they're cold and review them that way. I don't usually like black teas when they're cold. I usually am like, throw that out. I didn't find it like this. I found that the spices made this a very drinkable cold tea, which, again, to me was really great, and made this tea stand out because it was definitely different. So the third one, so the fourth that I have from this company, is Nefertiti. So this one is an herbal tea, and this is based on an ancient Egyptian recipe. Similar tea is still served in the region, and it's called Kadae. I don't know. The recipe dates back to 1300 BC and was traditionally sweetened with honey. Apples were considered the king of fruits and were imported to Egypt by way of seeds from Eastern Europe. The tea brews up a beautiful crimson and smells of flowers and spice. It's delicious served both hot and cold. So I agree, it is definitely delicious both hot and cold. So again, here I will try and give you an idea of what she looks like. So there's Nefertiti. You can see the chunks of fruit and the floral bits. It's a bit florally, bit appley when you smell it, but doesn't really have a super strong smell dried. When it is brewed up, again, I drank them all hot first. It brewed up, again, also quite quickly, but it brewed up a really pretty pink color. It looked like it should be fruity, but it smelled spicy. So that was really neat for me because I am definitely a fan of spices in my teas. My favorite teas tend to have a strong cinnamon base to them, something like that. So that was really nice for me. It was lovely hot. It was quite nice when it was cold. I really liked that one. And again, this one I can see, I didn't sweeten this one because I liked it and found it was sweet enough as it is. But adding some honey to it or something like that would also be a nice touch, or some agave, something. You know, I have plain agave, but I know you can get like vanilla agave, different things like that might add another neat note to it. But it was really pretty. It was pink, and it brewed up really nice. And this one I had cold at the street fair, and again, let it get cold here today. It was really quite lovely, and it was nice hot as well. So these are the ones. Those are the four that I had from Sense and Sensibility. They're based out of Halifax. You can find them online. These 4 packages that I got were $4. No, were $20. No, were they $4? Maybe these were $16. Yes, they were $4 each. So this was $16 for all 4 of them. It probably, I don't know whether you can get the same sizes on their website or whether it might be a little bit more expensive that way. Chances are website pricing is also meant to accommodate the fact that people will be ordering from the US. And our dollar is not worth as much, especially right now. But give them a check out. The couple who was running it was quite lovely. And yeah, it's a really neat idea, a different take on how to be different in the tea world. And yeah, I will definitely order from them again, try out some of their other stuff, and let you know what I think of some of the others. I have some other tea reviews coming. I picked up another sort of local brand when I was in Moncton for my sister's wedding. So I have 3 or 4 teas from them to review, and I will also be heading to David's Tea hopefully sometime this week, which means I will have a couple more things from there, including a request. So yeah, if there's other teas that you want me to review, other questions that you had, please send me a line, and I will talk to you in the next one. Cheers!